World War I was a catalyst for World War II. After World War I was over, revolution erupted throughout Europe. Nations were supposed to have peace, but instead there was economic unrest due to World War I. Damage to the nations caused hundreds of millions of dollars, and when the economy was ruined, nations were bound to have revolution. In this case, Germany was forced to pay war reparations, which caused the economy to suffer severely. The people of Germany wanted change, so they looked to many leaders who promised hope. Hitler took this opportunity, and within a few years he was the Führer of Germany under Nazi policy. Meanwhile, Mussolini led Italy under fascist rule. In the Soviet Union, Stalin transformed the country into a truly socialist state. Hitler's first act of aggression was by sending troops into the Rhineland, which was a demilitarized zone between Belgium and France. Hitler had many more acts of aggression that forced the U.S. to move towards war. Germany took Poland without a fight, and President Roosevelt knew that as a world superpower, the U.S. would have to do something sooner or later to stop Germany. Roosevelt decided to implement cash and carry into the Neutrality Acts, which allowed nations to buy American arms as long as they brought the goods home on their ships. The arms were meant to help France and Britain defeat Hitler without actually joining the war. By the summer of 1940, France was defeated and Britain was next. On top of that, Japan, Germany, and Italy signed the Tripartite Pact, which became known as the Axis powers. Now, Roosevelt decided to build America's defenses. Then, cash and carry was replaced with the Lend-Lease Act, which allowed the U.S. to lend supplies to any country who the U.S. needed to protect. The U.S. ended up spending $50 billion to aid Britain and the Soviet Union when Hitler decided to attack the Soviet Union. As Britain crossed the Atlantic Ocean to obtain war supplies, German U-boats sank 1.2 million tons of British shipment. In 1941, Roosevelt ordered the U.S. Navy to protect this shipment, which gave the Navy permission to attack German U-boats in self-defense. Winston Churchill, the British Prime Minister, met with Roosevelt where they settled a Declaration of Principles called the Atlantic Charter. The Atlantic Charter listed the causes of World War II and why it was being fought. On September 4, 1941, a German U-boat attacked a U.S. destroyer. 2 weeks later, an American merchant ship was sunk as well. As this was happening, Japan took over a French military base in Indochina. The U.S. responded by cutting off all trade with Japan. Japan knew that they needed the U.S.'s supplies in order to keep running as a nation. As a response, Japan pushed America to the final straw, the attack on Pearl Harbor. The attack was devastating, with 350 planes and 18 carriers destroyed. 2,400 people were killed as well. The next day, December 8, 1941, the U.S. declared war on Japan. 3 days later, Germany and Italy declared war on the U.S. America was now completely involved in World War II.